having that type of mindset that life ebbs and flows, and you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, and it's too short to not take some of those risks and to take some of those steps, because you'll never know.
What's going on, and welcome to the Take a Step podcast. I'm your host, Josh Johnston, founder of Take a Step. It's a community that's focused on bringing together like-minded individuals who are all purpose-driven towards taking action to maximize their God-given potential. If you find value in this podcast, please leave a rating and review on whichever platform you're listening. It really helps us to continue to grow this community and change more lives for the better. Feel free to give me a follow on social media at __take a step __, and reach out to me if you have any questions or just want to connect. With that being said, let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. I'm excited for this one. We got one of my good buddies who I was actually able to meet in a very unique way back in the summer of 2019. But we got Austin Domer as a guest on the podcast today. Domer, thanks for joining.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Josh. This is an exciting opportunity. I'm glad to be on the Take a Step podcast. And you're right, man, down in Henderson, Kentucky.
Yeah,
man, it was quite some memories, dude. Quite some memories.
Yeah, seriously. And we'll get into that here in a second. But what I like being able to do is just kind of having the guests introduce themselves however it makes sense to them. So I'll let you kind of take that wherever you want.
Yeah. No. So I have an athletic background. Played baseball. You played baseball as well, and I was fortunate enough to play at the Division I level. I played for the University of Akron. Under Chris Sabo, if anybody knows Spudsy, the Cincinnati Reds third baseman. He was my head coach, and the tenure came to an end, and I kind of made the decision to walk away from baseball. I didn't have aspirations to play after that. I think it was a pretty mature decision on my part. I wasn't that big. I wasn't that projectable. And I was like, you know what? I can do something else. I can find some purpose in something else. So I stepped away. Finished there and then started training. And I've been doing that since. So I've been training for over 2 years now. Started in the adult fitness realm. And actually it started because I just worked at a normal gym. It was called the Athleticos in Columbus, Ohio. And it was a developer, so a real estate developer. And all they were trying to do was to create small cities within their developments, which they had a great vision. It was very cool. But I was young and not knowing too much about what I wanted to do. I just wanted to step into something. So I went with it, and it worked out for the time being. And then I slowly started to realize that they didn't care too much about training. They didn't care too much about actually helping people in that way. Well, they help people in a way, right? They help people by providing living spaces and gyms. Like, that's all great. But we talked about a niche, right? I wanted to get into it. I really wanted to get into it. And it was driving me insane that they wouldn't let me really build programs and start to focus on training. And the space wasn't meant for it, to be honest with you. It was an open concept, 24/7 gym. And I'm like, training's not going to get done here. It's probably about time that we stepped away. And the rest is kind of history. Now I've moved to Texas and did that with my girlfriend and I. That was a big step. My girlfriend was just finishing up school at the Ohio State University. And we were like, what do we do? Like, I'm not happy with where I'm at. She has an opportunity to do whatever the heck she wants to do. And we have no kids, which is great. We do have a dog, Billy, my German Shepherd. She's locked out right now because she'll whine and cry, but that's our baby. That's about it. And we were like, you know what? We had some family down here, and the family asked us, they were like, hey, would you guys want to move down here? And I think they asked in a jokingly way, but we were like, no, let's actually consider this. Like, why not? Why not? Let's take a leap of faith, take a step out of our comfort zone. And we did it. So we moved down here to Texas, and now I live in Texas, in Plano, Texas. And it's in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and training now. So I'm still training adults. I'm training youth athletes, and now I've gotten involved in coaching. So,
Nice.
like I said, it's busy. It's busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. So when you made that move, did you have anything lined up or anything like on your radar as far as what you were gonna do, or was it just completely spontaneous once you got
Spontaneous, brother. Spontaneous.
there?
Like,
Jeez.
yeah, and I've always been someone who has been very rigid and routine and
Mm-hmm.
need to have a plan. And not to say like, financially we were okay. Like we could do this, and we had family, which helped.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been a little bit of a different story if there was no family or nobody down here. But yeah, man, it was spontaneous. We were like, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having that type of mindset that life ebbs and flows, and you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. And it's too short to not take some of those risks and to take some of those steps, because you'll never know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're big on not being too complacent, and it's been great so far. It was hard, really, really hard at first. It was a big adjustment. That's
Well, I
for
can
sure.
imagine. Talking about taking a step. That's
Yeah,
taking a leap
literally.
of faith right there. Seriously, and just like, having this idea, this proposition in front of you, and saying, you know what, let's just take it and see where it goes. And I think there's something super powerful in that. I was on one of my last episodes. A guy I was speaking with was talking about the power in just saying yes when you're presenting with opportunities. Now, obviously, once you get to a certain point in life, it's good to start dialing back and only saying yes to the right things. But I mean, when you don't have, when your responsibilities are few, then the power of just saying yes to opportunities that present themselves is so powerful, because we'll find certain things out of those yeses that we would have never found otherwise. So I think that's so cool, and I think you are a testament to that power of saying yes through kind of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got to go in with an open door policy. You know what I mean? Like, just to go off of that, if you don't keep that open mind mentality and be expectant that things are going to be good, you have to be expectant that things are going to go well, right? That's the side of the glass half full rather than a half empty mentality. And that's something that my dad instilled in me big time when we were younger. But yeah, you're right, man. Like, there's so much opportunity, and we saw it. And even to rewind just a little bit, if you don't have a purpose or a why for why you're going to start taking all these steps and these actionable steps, you're kind of just going through the motions. And I know what I want to do, and I'm a firm believer in what I want to do, and I'm very passionate about it. And I knew I had an opportunity to do that more here. And that's kind of what got us here. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I think where my true passion really lies, and I love that you bring up, understanding your why and understanding your purpose, because my true passion falls in the space of helping people discover that purpose. Because it's tough to take action on something that you don't know, that you're trying to figure out. So I think step one for me, and what I love, is being able to help people discover that purpose so that they can take that first step into it. And it sounds like, and also from when I first met you, obviously I could tell what your purpose was. You loved, not only developing your own personal, health and fitness, but, pouring that wealth of knowledge out into others and we can kind of go into that, because when we met, so I'll go into that story. So we met
let's go into it.
In Henderson, Kentucky, and it was such a unique situation. And people who didn't play, college sports, to them it would sound insane, because thinking back on it, I'm like, I mean, it's such a crazy experience. So we both played college baseball, like Austin just said. So we in college baseball specifically, there's summer baseball leagues throughout the country, all over the place, that players will sign to, get shipped out there for the summer, and they don't know where they're living. They know that they have they know they have a space to live, but they don't know they're living with. They don't know anything. So we get out to this middle of nowhere town, Henderson, Kentucky, just like on the border of Kentucky and Indiana. And
hot and sticky.
We got out there at the end of May, and it was it was funny. The first day we got there, there was like a tornado that was coming through.
Yeah, I do remember.
Do you remember that driving out to the farm?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was nuts. It was pretty scary looking out there.
Yeah, so we meet at this high school baseball field, meet the guys, meet the coach, and then there are all these host families who signed up, and we meet who we're living with for the next 2 months that day, and we followed them out to their farm, which was, again, we talk about Henderson being at the middle of nowhere. They lived even more in the middle of nowhere, about 30 minutes to their little farms.
I think it was called Corden. It was called Corden. I think that was the
Corden,
small little
I
town
think
that had a church and
right.
a church and a
Dollar
gas
General.
station and a Dollar General. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like
right.
three
That's
things.
right.
That was it.
Yeah, but so we get out there. Then that's where we were. They had a farm with sheep. They had dirt bikes. They had a little
Oh yeah,
blacktop they built for their kids. But it was such a unique experience, and it was so cool. And I wanna kind of get your thoughts on, what some of your main takeaways and what you thought about that summer, because it was so cool just to be able to, not only have this completely different experience than you're used to in your normal, college baseball world, living at home and training, but you get together with this group of guys in the middle of nowhere. You don't know anything about the place, so all you have is each other. So you form these really cool bonds,
yeah.
and have nothing to do but work out, play baseball, and just hang out and grow relationships. And it was such a cool experience.
I agree, man. It was really fun, and for me, that was actually my very first true summer ball experience.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I would just come home, and I live at home, like you said, and I'd play in a local league, and it wasn't that good. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like, this was the first time. That was my first year going to Akron. They put me there, and I'm like, shoot, I don't know what to expect. Like, I don't know what this is going to be like. Like, I don't know if I should be excited or not. And you're right. It ended up being one of the coolest things I ever did. And I think we need to touch on how great our host family was, the Graces.
Yeah.
We were truly blessed with a great host family. Like, they would bring in foreign exchange students. They didn't have anyone we were there, but I remember them talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about down to earth, good people. That's what they were.
I mean, seriously.
And that helped me. Just living with them for that 3 to 4 months shaped me into a better human being. And I'm very thankful that we were able to meet them and be with them. I had a lot of fun, and they treated us like we were their own kids.
Yeah,
you know what
seriously.
I mean?
We come home to God, what was her? It was like poppy seed chicken or something like that.
Oh man, she made the best food. She made the best food, man.
Yeah.
Everything was buttered up too. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah,
we had those the breakfast in the mornings. We had what do we have? Always eggs, bacon, her biscuits. Those biscuits were fire.
The eggs from her chickens out back.
Oh man, yeah, and the sheep, dude. That was the craziest part, and that I was not expecting that, and they were legit, man. They had all those sheep, and man, those kids did all that work and stuff. It was great. I love that place. And then talk about the baseball side of it and the work that we put in. You're right, man. It was just grit, and it was like we're just playing ball every day. That was our life. Like, we're gonna train, we're gonna practice, we're going to recover and eat, and we're going to rest, and then we're going to go play some ball games. And that was the most fun that I've ever had playing baseball. I'm not going to lie. Like, in my whole baseball career, that was it. And man, we were good.
Yeah,
we were
I was
good.
about to say,
I'm not gonna lie. We were good.
It helped a little bit that we were nasty that summer. That was some of the best baseball I personally have ever played, which made it a lot more fun. But it felt like everybody was just clicking. Like, I feel like the team energy, the team vibe was amazing that summer.
And it started with our leaders, man. It started with JD, and it started with B. And we had very good coaches, and we had guys that instilled confidence in us, and they were good at keeping everybody together. I think that was the biggest part of it right there. And yeah, you're right, man. We had fun. Like, all those friendships created, man. Like, if I could call any one of them up, I know they'd probably do something for me. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. That was the type of crew that we had, and you saw it on the field as well. And man, I do miss it. It was a very nostalgic talking about it right now. So yeah,
seriously, there's so many good memories from just like hanging out at that one apartment where the guys didn't have the host families. That's where we go on. That's where we go on weekends and after games, but. It like you said, like, we had nothing else to do. It was hang out with the guys, play games. We all got a membership at that same gym right behind the high school field. So it was work out, go hit batting practice, go play ball games, hang out at the farm, hang out at the apartment. Just it was it was such a cool summer. And I was talking with one of my buddies the other day that I played that played at my college, and it makes me think of this right now. And we talked about some of the just training sessions we had throughout our college years and how we went in and like we weren't really thinking about, the result we were going to get on the field. We were just doing it because we love to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that summer, like it's another example of falling in love with the process and
Yeah.
not giving two craps about the result. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like embracing the journey, not the destination. And I think that was part of the journey for us. That was just like, I mean, I don't care. Obviously we wanted to win games, and we did win games because we were pretty good, but like we just love doing it for the love of doing it.
Right. No, and then to piggyback off of that, I think part of that was because it was summer ball, and then people put less pressure on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not your in season school ball, which you prepare for all year. It was summer ball, so like a lot of people just look at it like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna get some work in and keep practicing. But that's where we fell in love. You're right, with the work, with the process. Like we had guys in there, we were lifting. Man, that was one of the strongest I've ever been. I remember we were deadlifting like 500 pounds. I still have the videos on my phone. Like we were getting after it. And I think also to that point is when everybody else on the team saw us working and kind of just doing that by example and leading, we got some other guys to kind of start coming with us.
Yeah.
And then it was just a domino effect, man. It spread like wildfire, and that's why we were successful.
Yeah,
which
seriously.
was
cool. I can still name getting like guys like Hayden Judas in there and guys like Gunner, guys like I remember the high schooler Jake Murdaugh, who was just getting in, he's just figuring out what working out was. Noah, oh my gosh,
Noah's a big guy that comes to mind, man. Remember, I think, not to talk about his stuff too much, but he was on the verge of like not wanting to play ball anymore.
Yeah,
and I hope that him coming with us and working, and he kind of saw like, man, like I can see some better outcomes if I just put in the work with these guys and keep striving for better. And now he's playing at Asbury. I think he's still playing.
He's been there for years. He's reached out to me a couple times since then, and he's such a good dude. But I think like you're right, just like getting in that environment. I remember kind of just diving into those deep conversations in between sets or after a workout because we have nothing, we have nowhere to go. We didn't have a game that day. We're just kind of hanging out at the gym talking. But I think some of those conversations and being in that environment helped guys like him. He wasn't the only guy, but I think guys like him were able to pick up and feed off of that. And that's what, those summers are for, to really mold and shape, who you want to be both as a ball player and as a person as well.
Yeah. Like you said, product of your environment and also a product of your attitude too, like, you surround yourself in a room of 10 people and 9 of them are losers. You're going to end up being a loser unless you can maintain a positive attitude. That's going to be the hard route. But man, that environment that we created was positive and it was uplifting, and it was, like you said, striving for a better self, and it showed. So it was very fun, very cool, good memories. So
for sure. Well, kind of going off of talking about being at the gym, being in the weight room, I know, and you talked about it, just kind of your journey in health and fitness and what, where you've kind of grown your career off of that. But I'd love to just kind of hear, for you and from your perspective, like how did you find your passion for, strength training, for working with others, for pouring your knowledge into others? Just talk to me a little bit about your journey in that world.
Yeah. I mean, so, coming from that athletic background, those things are already there. Right. Mm-hmm. And when you do them more than the general public, you get better at them ultimately. Right. You're putting in more reps and more effort. And when I started seeing success and I got to a point where I was performing at a high level, I'm like, I know this and I love this and I know I can teach it. Right. So I know it so well that I was like, that's my calling, is to now I'm done playing the competitive side of it. I don't play the game anymore. I don't do those things. But what can I do now? Well, I know that I have that experience and I've experienced it a lot longer or more than most people can say. And I did it at a pretty high level. So why not entrain that into other individuals, right? No matter what the goal is. I think one of your questions was, talking about my thoughts on the styles of
Yeah.
training and things like that. I think instead look at it like there's goals, right? There's probably three main goals, in my opinion, that people train for. And that's aesthetics, right? People want to look better. They want to feel better. And then you get into functionality, longevity, and just your health, right? Which I would say is the majority of the public, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
And then we have competition, right? You have a specific niche goal, something that you have to train specifically for, and you got to do it every day. Like every day that you train has to have very strong intentions. It has to have specifics in it. But that's when you start to add in the details. I think it's a collaboration of it all, right? It's not just one style is better over the other. Instead, think of what's my goal first, and then I extend and I build from there. But yeah, the training has been something that I've always known, and now I'm getting into youth development, which I will say is very difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so training adults is one thing, right? They're in that one bucket of they're just trying to look better, feel better. They know they need to be healthy. They know they need to move. They don't want to, but they know they need to.
Yeah, you don't have to convince them of the why. Like they know why.
Yeah,
like,
for the most part. Exactly.
I think with youth is probably like, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I think with youth is like they don't really get why they're doing it yet.
No, not at all. And you're not going to start to see that until they get into high school. Sometimes even later than that. Some people figure it out too late. But yeah, and you get into effective communication too. Like the way I'm going to talk to an adult compared to a 9-year-old is going to be way different. And you see a lot of trainings and coaches that they try to copy and paste that same type of communication to every demographic, but it's not that way, right? Like that 9-year-old's not going to understand me telling them, "Hey, stack your elbows underneath your wrist. I need you to do this." It's like they're not going to get that. So, training across the board, we all know what to do. It's not rocket science, right? Yeah. We got to lift, we got to strength train. We need to add in some flexibility and mobility for our joints and our muscles. We also need to do some cardio. We have to do some intervals. We have to know what recovery and resting is. We have to know all those things, but then you start to add into the details based on the goal. And I think that's the simplest way to put it. And then the good coaches understand how to effectively communicate those things now based off their demographic.
Yeah, and I think that's the most intentional approach is you gotta I don't know if anyone's read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but you gotta begin with the end in mind. Like there's no you can't run a race without knowing where the finish line is. You know what I mean? So if you try to schedule out and you don't have a clearly defined at least direction on where you're going, then how are you going to program or perform any task when you have no baseline?
Right.
And I love the idea of let's first understand where we're going so we can program the best possible route to get there. And I think that's kind of where your style of training comes from.
Yeah, I'm big on that because like I've always felt wrong about seeing people on Instagram, on Facebook, and there's great minds out there everywhere. Like I'm not taking away from anybody, but I just feel like I see too much of my style over yours or this style over yours. And it's like, no, your guys are looking at it completely wrong, in my opinion. It's look at the person that you're working with first, figure out what that end goal is, figure out what that outcome that they need, and then backtrack, right? Yeah. I think a good term is backcasting. I heard this from Dr. Peter Attia. It was Peter Attia. He talks about backcasting. And he talks about it in the terms of longevity. So like think of if you want to live to your 90, right? What do you want to do when you're 90 years old, right? In terms of training. Do you want to still be able to move up and down stairs? Do you still want to be able to take short walks out in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
That's a better way to look at it, and then build the plan from there rather than the front end.
Yeah.
So I think you're spot on.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's so cool that you talk about that, because I actually, my full-time job, I'm in the personal development space, where we work with Christian entrepreneurs and business leaders on, helping them be the best self and reach the next level financially. And then at the same time, prioritizing their family, their faith, their health, their fitness levels, kind of a holistic approach to life success.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool, because every new client we get, we the first thing we do is help them craft their master vision for where they want their life. Like, if they woke up and they were living their dream life today, paint a vivid picture of what that looks like in each of these buckets, your business, your family, and health and fitness being one of those. And then from there, we can reverse engineer. All right, if this is where I want to be in 30 years, and I wake up and I'm living my dream life, what's one good step to get there? So let's set 3-year goals off of that. Let's set, all right, if I want to get there in 3 years, let's set a year. And then what are some 90-day milestones I can hit? And then kind of really building out a reverse engineered process to get there in practical steps over time. And it's so cool to hear you explain it in that same light. It's specifically related to health and fitness.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think that's just the better way to do it. And I think what that creates too is a sense of less pressure and more sustainability, right? I think what is the hardest thing for people to do with their health and fitness journey is to stick with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people fall off after their January 1st goal for what it's a 1-year goal. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying short-term goals aren't important. Short-term goals are very important, but they're only the building blocks to those long-term goals. Like you said, you called it a master vision, your master vision plan. I love that. That's the idea. And that's the idea. It's just instilled in training now. You know what I mean? And it's hard to get people to visualize that far. I think that's the struggle. And that's where it gets into resilience 3 is how do we connect those dots? How do we get people to get a lifestyle like that that we think is healthy and sustainable? How do we do that? Well, for one, it starts here, right? Everything starts here. Like, if your mindset isn't right, if you're not preparing or creating positive emotions in your mind, it's going to be hard, right? At that point, it's tough. And even if you are doing some of the steps, I think it's more through the motions rather than with intent, right? Intention and through the motions is a different, those are different sides, right?
Yeah.
And that's, again, it comes into purpose and why. Figure out why you want to do it. Create your mindset, make sure that thing's strong, right? And then go from there.
Yeah. And it takes, I think the most important, I heard someone explain it this way. Like, so many people go through their whole life working in life, but only, the 1%ers will become the 1%ers by choosing to work on their life, by choosing to set aside time to work on who they want to be. And at first I was like, that doesn't really make any sense. But I'm like, we can kind of wing it through life and go through the motions through life. And we can, get the results that everyone's going to get. If you do what everyone else does, you're going to get what everyone else gets. Right.
Right.
So the people who truly want to be intentional and fast track the process and getting to the goals that they set will choose to say, hey, how can I not only wing it day by day and go through the motions, but let's set aside some time to plan out, who I want to be. Why do I want to get there? What are the actual steps that I can have so that I know what I'm going to perform that day and then the next day, so that I'm not waking up and just saying, oh, I'll do this day. I'll do this the next day, but having an intentional plan and setting aside that it's like taking time away so that you can earn more time later on. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. You gotta have a strong desire for the thing that you want to do or your purpose. And I think that's the first step is figure out the why and then put those steps together. And when you wake up every day, it's easy to wake up every day when you know what you want to do. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's easier for you. Like, if you wake up in 3 a.m. or 4 a.m, I see you do some of those things, right? Like,
on occasion.
It's easier for you to do some of those throughout the week though, right? Because like you
Yeah.
know where it's going to get you and you know why you're doing it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like that is a specific plan of action that you want to take for that ultimate goal.
Mhm.
And I just don't think we have enough of that. And I don't think that people know how to tap into it. I
Yeah,
think people
agreed.
want to, but they
And
just don't know how.
I think an important thing that you said going off of that is like when you hear about, and I don't wake up at 3 a.m. every day. I was doing that for a specific competition, but I mean, I do like definitely prioritize waking up very early because that's something that's a priority for me. But what you said a second ago is, what's the hardest thing that people have with their health and fitness and life in general is sticking to something, putting a plan together and sticking to it. And, one of the quotes I love is like, what's the best workout plan? One that you're going to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, like the idea of waking up at 5 a.m. when they wake up at, 7:30 and roll into work, that, 2.5 hours earlier every day is that's something you would say, all right, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Like that'll last a week.
Yeah.
But let's like same thing with like reverse engineering the steps is like, all right, well, let's take one step. Let's just wake up 30 minutes earlier today and let's stick to that for a month. And then from there, let's try to increase that a little bit and taking that step by step and doing something that's sustainable, like you were talking about a second ago. I think that's my favorite strategy, and that's kind of one of my main philosophies behind Take a Step. Is like, all right, just take one step and then replicate that tomorrow, and then do it
Mm-hmm.
again, and then build off of that and take one more step, and then over time, you'll look back in 5-10 years and say, look at all of these steps that I took methodically over time to get to this result that I wanted to get to.
Yes. And I tell my clients this all the time. I have people asking me questions right and left about diet, about nutrition, about uh, what exercises they should be doing, what stretches, all this stuff. How many days a week should I be working out? How intense should I be going? I'm like, hold up, hold up, hold up. You've overwhelmed me.
Yeah.
How overwhelmed are you right now sitting here thinking about all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
no, make it simpler. Create something that's simple. What can you do right now? Right?
Mhm.
Can you go on a walk 2 times a week? Sure. Yeah, you got 30 minutes at the end of your day. Start there. Come back to me next week. Let me know. Right? It's like you said, take one step, figure out if it's going to work well for you, and then keep building off of it, right?
So one of the things you said a second ago that I kind of want to bounce back to is you were talking about how when you look around on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, and you see all these influencers and people that have great content, it seems very combative, and like people are saying, my plan's better than your plan. This workout style is better than yours, or this diet. You have the carnivore diet, you have keto, you have all these people that come on and they looks like they have pretty solid backing for actual science behind what they're actually saying, but there's still all of this tension in the space. So I want to hear from your perspective, just kind of you know where's the balance, because obviously I've never been one to believe that there's it's not a one trick pony. There's not a one workout that's the best. There's, like we were talking about a second ago, there's not one diet that's the best. So where do you see the balance in all of that outside of just having the goal? But like, what would your recommendation be for someone who were to come to you and say, hey, I see all this out there, where do I go from here with all this information?
I think it's a tough question. But you're right. There's too much extreme sides of everything right now, and it's solely for influence. People are
Mm,
just trying to sell their stuff, right? And I
mm,
get it. Like we run off money in this world, and that's kind of the unfortunate truth.
mm,
But we have to make a living, and people will side with each other and partner up and say that their way is the best or this way is the best. And I think that you just have to be really in tune with your own research. Like take a look at both sides, right? Don't just look at this one person saying the carnivore diet, for example, is the
yeah.
best way to go. Okay, but then look at the other side too and ask yourself an honest question like what do I need? What is important for me? going back to your goals, like, what am I trying to get out of this? And then go from there. I think there's too much of just trusting whatever somebody says because they have influence. You know what I mean? Like, they have 50,000 followers, so they know what they're talking about. Oh, that's not necessarily true. That just means that they effectively communicate pretty well, and people have hopped on their train. Now, I'm not saying like people that have all these followings, like, yes, there are people out there with brilliant minds that understand it. One of my favorite people on Instagram, for example, is Lane Norton. You know who Lane Norton is at all?
I don't think I've heard of Lane.
Check him out. I think he does a great job of kind of just hushing the bullshit. So he will see these people make these claims, and they'll be on one side of the spectrum, and he's like, okay, well, there's actually real research and science to show, like, if you did all that, it's not true, and you're kind of a moron. He's not nice about it, which I think is funny. But people like that, you have to just kind of sift through it all and make an educated response from it. Now I understand, like, not everybody has the background knowledge or the education on that topic, but there's good places to start. And we know that we need to eat fruits, we need to eat vegetables, we need to eat protein. Like, that's the simplest truth out there. Spread it out, right? Like, you don't have to go full carnivore. You don't have to go full vegan, right? We don't have to do all those things. We don't have to just strength train only because you know people that just say strength training is the best thing for them. No, we know that we need to be flexible. We know that we need to have strong ligaments and tendons. We know that we need to be able to move through those proper ranges of motion. And we know that we need to have some form of cardiovascular health. Like, we have pillars for everything. Build those first and build balance there. And then you can start to get specific if you want to, right? Then people figure out that balance. Let me give you an example. I have people at this place that I work at in the morning called Outlaw, and it's more of like a weight loss, adult fitness, boot camp style place. And some of these people actually train to be bodybuilders in their middle age, right? I don't have really young people in there. It's more middle age. And I have there's this older lady in there that has come, and she's built a good foundation. It's amazing. Her hinge is amazing. She's strong. She could deadlift her body weight from the floor. She has really good cardio. Her physique is really good. She wants to go into a bodybuilding competition, right? But only reason she could have gotten there was because she built a foundation first and created a good balance.
Yeah.
Right. And then she could start to get specific with it. So you have to build those pillars first. You have to build flexibility. You have to build strength. You have to build cardio, right? You have to learn how to eat good and do it sustainably too, right? That's hard for a lot of us. I get it. And even me, I love to eat ice cream. I love to eat. I got a place across the street called Pinkberry. Don't ask my girlfriend Emma. I'm over there every other night. Like, yeah, I'm going to get Pinkberry. I'm adding stuff onto it. But, like, I know I'm okay with it because I train hard and most of the time I eat well, right? Like, it's not like I'm eating that for every meal, but I've created a good foundation, and it's something that I've finally found that I can keep going with and I can maintain. Then I can play around with it. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I know, and that's what we were talking about a second ago, is sustainability. Like, what's sustainable? Like unless you're someone who's trying to, you're trying to hit a specific percentage for a bodybuilding show, or you're like, unless you're at that top 1% of whatever niche is that you're training in, then as long as you're dialed for 75, 80, 90% of the time, then like those little, those treats here and there, those cheat meals, like those aren't going to have the effect that it's going to show in any way, shape, or form relative to why you're doing what you're doing. Now, to a bodybuilder who's trying to get down to 6% body fat and, see every regimented aspect of his muscles on stage in the right lighting, like they might have, they can see those minute details. But for the vast majority of the people who train, then having that creates more sustainability over time. Now, I want to be careful with saying that, because that's not me saying, oh yeah, if you work hard, treat yourself to a cheat, to a dessert every single night and do that, because I think there's the common saying, which is, you can out train a bad diet, which people take that and run with it and say, oh, if I burn 2,000, 3,000 calories today, then I can go have, a Big Mac and eat some ice cream afterwards because I trained hard. I burned all these calories in, calories out. I'm good.
Yeah, right. No, and you're right. You can't, like I said, it's do the stuff over time for a good amount of while, then you can have it in moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said moderation in today's world is a little bit different than what it used to be. Yeah. Like moderation is like, okay, every now and then, not every night.
Yeah.
Just once. Like, no, we have created a because America is built off of options, and it's a consumer society, and we can go into the fast food world, right? We have small, medium. We used to just have one size. Now we got extra large, large. Like, we're supersizing everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I saw a great thing. It's like, do I need the large? No, you don't. You need just the small. You don't need anything more. You know what I mean? You don't need anything more. And that's just diet alone. But to go back into that too, we're talking about health and fitness for most of the population, right? The general public. Mm-hmm. That's where you're going to see the biggest impact. We're not talking our niche topics right now. We're not talking about our elite NFL athletes. We're not talking about our, high level Olympic people. We're just talking about mostly everybody, right? And to make the biggest impact there, everybody just needs to find a way to create a good foundation with all of their pillars.
Yeah, and stick to something.
Stick to something. That's it.
Yeah,
and then work from there.
Yeah. I think. I mean, we can beat a dead horse by just saying, like, just be intentional about creating something, build the foundation, and do it over and over and over. And I'm reading. I've mentioned it before, but I'm almost done with it. I swear. I feel like I've mentioned it in every podcast for the past 2 months. But Atomic Habits by James Clear is something that's amazing, because two things that relate to what we're talking about that I got out of that book is what I'm referring to is in kind of explaining the idea of getting something and sticking to it and doing it over and over is an identity shift. Like it's not something that when it comes to a certain point, it is just what you do. Like, this is who I am. Like I wake up and go for a run at 6, or I go to the gym after work every day. Like that's just who you are when it comes to a certain point. So getting to that point to where you have that identity shift to where it's not I'm going to see if I can fit it into my schedule, but no, it's just what I do. That's, the first step in building the mindset around having good habits. And then another thing that I got out of it was he has this I guess this formula that's like a 4-part formula for either building a habit, the framework to build that habit, or to get rid of one. It's a cue, a craving, an action, and a result. So I think what we were talking about a second ago, like, all right, if we can do everything we can to fix the cue being, whatever it is that triggers that initial craving, like if you pass by, what'd you say the ice cream place was across the street?
Pinkberry.
If you pass by Pinkberry coming home every single day, and that's your cue, then only pass by there one day a week, and the other 6 days out of the week, take a different route home. Go an extra block to go around it, because if you see it, that's going to create the cue, and then that'll create the craving for you wanting it, and then you're going to take the action on eating the ice cream, and the result is you ate ice cream. Now you're a step back. So I think curating that cue is a huge first step in the right direction for anybody that's either trying to create a good habit or kick a bad habit.
Right. And to be even more specific, to be hyper conscious about that too. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, it can't just be in and out through your mind. Like, it has to be deliberate thought. Like, no, I do not need to do that. I need to go over here. And by doing that and being hyper conscious with it, you're going to beat that in for so long that it turns into the subconscious, right? And now your subconscious is creating those habits, and you don't have to really worry about that thought, because you're not really having that thought. You've created that different habit by instilling it so hard. So I would just say, to add on to that, definitely have to be hyper conscious about trying to change a habit with those cues.
Nice. Yeah. So kind of switching gears, you referenced it earlier, but I wanna dive into what you and your buddy are building through Resilience 3, and you referenced Resilience 3 a second ago, but
Yeah.
um, I, I want to just kind of hear a little bit about what's y'all's why behind it. What is it, from just like a 30,000 foot perspective, and where are you looking to take it?
Yeah. So, we have Resilience 3. It's with my partner, Zach Ramsdale. Got to give him a shout out. He's helped me so much too. And we're working alongside each other, trying to build this as much as we can. He's busy, man. He's a project developer too. So he's wearing a lot of hats. He's doing a lot of things. And we try every week to to meet and figure something out, and keep building what we're doing. But we can't lose the vision. You got to keep talking about it, right? You can never stop talking about it. But Resilience 3, 30,000 foot view, it started out as just fitness, right? We thought, oh, we're just going to do like some training and stuff like that, and provide that type of service online. But it's evolved, and I guess I should tell you when it originally started. We started this technically and officially in June of last year. So it's a baby. It's fresh. And, but Zach and I, through our own experiences, 100% my best friend, right? We grew up together. We're always doing stuff together, played football together, played baseball together, everything you name it. He's my right-hand man. And, we've always had the same type of ideals and morals and values. And we were like, you know what? We're the best people to go into business with and try to create something. We've always created stuff, right? We were the kids that would create YouTube videos when we were younger. We would write up scripts. We would do all this stuff. We used to rap and make music and just make beats and stuff. Like, we had those creative mindsets too. And, eventually it turned into Resilience 3. And what Resilience 3 is, 30,000 foot view, is a way of collaborating the mindset, the physical, and everything else involved to create a better life, right? So it's kind of turned into a lifestyle brand. It's a way of living, just like Take a Step, right? It's incorporating that mindset piece with physical habits and fitness, to create better life performance. Right? What we like to use is self-transcendence. We're all about figuring out how to better yourself. And we're just in the beginning of it right now, and we're building out curriculum and programs and ways to help people tap into that network, right? Like we said, it's tough. It's tough to really tap into the mind and to figure it out. This thing's crazy up here, man. It's got so many thoughts flowing through it, like every other day, right? Every second there's stuff going through it. But how can you navigate that in a way for what you want to do? And that's generally what we have going on right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think one thing I want to talk about, which is very similar to kind of my evolution with Take a Step and really my life as a whole, is it's so cool to see the effects of establishing a foundation with your physical health and the how that relates to life as a whole, to mindsets, to how you perform in your day-to-day and your relationships and your career. Because like you said, like y'all had the vision of starting this as kind of just like a fitness thing, helping people with their performance and training. And it's so cool to see, as you start to dive deep into that, you're like, hold up a second. This is not the framework just to be my best self physically, but my best self in life. When I really started to see, a real change in my life as a whole was the exact same time that I started to take my physical health serious. And I've talked about this before, but, when I really got into the weight room, and I was, I played sports growing up. I was active, and I, quote unquote worked out in high school, but no plan. It was very winging it day by day, like we were talking about earlier. But when I started to take that serious and notice the results of being disciplined, and at the end of the day, I realized what I put in is what I'm going to get out. And
Mm-hmm.
if I can build out those disciplines and those habits off of that, then if I can take that and implement those exact same foundational skills into the rest of my life, there's so much life application that applies from my physical health through everything else, every other aspect of my life. And I've talked about that with my core values and Take a Step. But it's so cool to hear how the exact same process kind of happened with you guys. And like, yeah, we're just going to start this helping people, get better physically. And you're like, hold on a second. There's so much more value in this holistically rather than just in my strength training.
Yeah, you hit it on the nose. And it's cool to see, right? Like the way we first built it was, it's not one over the other. It's not just mindset leads in the physical or physical leads in the mindset. They interact at the same time. But for you just stated like you noticed how the physical helped with everything else, right?
Yeah.
We can also build that backwards. We could also build here first and then start to build into the physical and create the performance. So it interacts in two ways to create that. And that's what we love about it. And I think the biggest thing is, why would someone believe or trust us? It's just based off of our experiences. It's not like we're going out telling people like, you don't know how to think, or no, that's not it. It's like, we just know what we've done has provided success for us. I mean, we're 25 and I mean, I feel good about where I'm at, man. And I know it wasn't easy, and I know Zach feels the same way, but like, we've had these experiences and we've suffered through a lot too, to help us build back up and figure out what we need to do. And I think that's a big point to hit on, is the suffering is important.
You're gonna
right?
get me started.
Yeah. So the suffering is important, and we talk about it all the time, man. Like you have to be deep in the valley to see the mountains too. Like you have to come from somewhere that's hard, and then you'll see the light. A great book is The Myth of Sisyphus, if you've ever read it.
I have not.
It's a philosophy read, but basically the gods have punished a man, and he chooses to push a boulder up a mountain for the rest of eternity, right? Mm-hmm. And he does so with purpose, right? But he has to suffer through it. But because he holds his purpose so high and his reason so high, he does it, and he continues to succeed, pushing that boulder up the mountain. Definitely go give that a read. Something you would definitely like. It's a great one on the power of suffering.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying there's so many different rabbit trails I could go down when it comes into like choosing to do hard and willingly putting yourself through suffering. Right. And that goes back to physical health. Like that's the relation with physical health to the rest of our lives is like, my physical health is the one thing that I know I can wake up and willingly put myself through something hard and get a result out of, and then watch the effects of that into the rest. If I can do that willingly, then I know when life throws things at me, I'm going to be able to handle that adversity so much better because I choose to put myself through that on a daily basis. And I love the mindset of like finding strength in our suffering, because I mean, you look at how a muscle is actually built. When you're training, you're breaking down the muscle. You're not growing the muscle when you're on, rep 8 and, rep 9, 10, getting on 20, and you're burning out that muscle. The fibers are breaking down. And then over time, because they've broken down, obviously with the right nutrition, and that we can go to that topic, but over time that builds back up from being broken down. And that's the same thing with our life, is like finding ways to put ourselves in situations to where we are going through that suffering and that struggle with the end goal and with the mindset of like, I'm going to grow from this. It is so powerful if we can wrap our heads around that. Yeah,
it's well said, man. And that's part of the reason why we chose to move out here. I said, like, when we first started here on this podcast, that was suffering in itself. Not knowing too many people, leaving friends, leaving family, leaving some comfortable aspects of our life. We had a good place that we lived. I had a very secure job. It was just like No, you have to put yourself into some of those ruts here and there. You gotta teach yourselves how to grow, and that's all mental, right? That's all in the mind. That's a big obstacle to overcome.
So you made a post recently that I want to dive into, and I want to kind of pick your brain about because I thought it was so powerful. I'll read it to you. You said this. You said the best teacher in life is your own experience. None of us know who we are until we fail. Whatever you do, give your heart to it. The only way is up. Keep going. I just love reading that part. It says, none of us know who we are until we fail. And I think that's so powerful because I've been thinking a lot about the idea of failure recently. And I think, as a society, we've really demonized the concept of failure and what that means. Because I think ultimately we've made people scared to fail when there's so much value that we can take out of those failures that we experience. And if we teach people that, failure is bad, success is good, and there's no in between, there's nothing good about failure, then what progress are we going to make? How are we going to help create people like a thought process in people where it's okay to take risks? And I just kind of want to get your headspace on that post that you made.
Yeah, so that quote was from Nipsey Hussle. He's an artist, and it just really resonated with me, and something that I know to the core. Like, I've always been someone that understands there's going to be that struggle, there's going to be that failure, but on the other side of that fear of that failure is growth and it's accomplishment. So getting comfortable with being a beginner is a huge thing. Take those steps to gain new experience in anything that you're doing, or if you just want to try something completely new that you've never done before, I would say don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Like I said about the stock market, right? You think about the stock market, it always goes up, right? It's always coming up. It's always on that upswing. So kind of think of life the same way. I know I do. It's when I wake up, I mean, I'm going to have bad days, but I also know, like, okay, the market's down for a little bit, right? It's going to come back up. It's coming back up tomorrow, right? Or it's going to come back up later in that day. You never know. But the key is to keep a good attitude with it all, and to just embrace life's journey, embrace how it ebbs and flows, because it always will. There's never going to be times where it's always good, and there's never going to be times where it's always bad. It just kind of comes back and forth, and keep taking your steps, man. Keep taking a step, and it works out. It always works out.
Yeah, I love that. Well, as we kind of wrap up the episode, I want to, one thing I want to ask you is just like, what's next on your radar for you and your journey? I know, we talked about Resilience 3. We talked about, what you're doing with your personal training, living situation. Just what's next in the next, 3 to 5 years for you on your radar?
Next 3 to 5 years, we never know, but,
Nope.
We can plan and try to figure it out. But Emma and I would definitely love to get into a house one day, and I'll definitely be popping the question around that time. I'm not sure, I can't give up when, but that's going to be happening, and we're excited for our life together. I know this is more personal, but I found my person, and she's great, and no man is good without a great significant other and a lady beside him. So I have the best in that aspect, and I'm very thankful. And we just look to continue to grow our life. And in terms of my career, I'm stepping more into an adult fitness director role. So I'll be having a lot of responsibility with building those initiatives and kind of driving up adult fitness for our Red Line athletics, and keep training kids and have that challenge me and teach me how to become a better trainer. And an ultimate goal too, I'd love to eventually train higher level elite college and maybe professional one day. But you got to build a real good foundation for that first. So just taking every day one step at a time and looking for ways to get better and grow. And resilience is coming right with us. So it's going to be right there with us.
Love to see it. Awesome. Well, one question I like to ask, just because in relating to my purpose behind Take a Step, like I said earlier, I love helping people discover their purpose. And then from there, after you discover your purpose, what's next is taking action on that purpose. And I think so many people are scared because they fall into a systematic approach that is really an Americanized system of like, you get to college, you get this job, you work your way up in that job, and you fall into this system, which is great for some people. I'm not putting that down at all, but I think it prohibits so many people from taking action on a life that they actually want to be living, that's purpose filled and is based off their true passion. So for you and just, your mindset, like, what do you think keeps people from taking action on living a life that they truly want to be living?
You need to ask the honest questions to yourself, and you have to be genuine and honest with those answers. And when you kind of figure out that self-realization, have that good self-reflection point, embrace any new experience you got coming your way, man. Don't worry about what's going to happen in the future. Be present. I think that's the biggest thing. If you look too far ahead, you get too anxious about it. If you're too worried about what happened in the past, you're depressed. So be present, and embrace whatever life is bringing to you right now at this waking hour. It's a lot better when we can do that. It's hard, but just be conscious about it. Be conscious about that present moment and keep living, and keep going. That's my biggest thing is I love saying, keep going. I love it. That's it. Cause that's all there is to it, man. Just keep going.
Yeah. And I think you said something earlier when you were, I forgot where we were in the conversation, but you said just be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Wherever you are today, be where your feet are, focus on the moment. Obviously having the plan in mind and your direction in mind with that. But as far as, what's going to bring you your purpose and what's going to bring you fulfillment, be where your feet are today.
That's right.
Awesome. Love it. Well, awesome, man. Where just for a quick second, where can people go to kind of keep up with you and what you're doing on social and also Resilience 3?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and I'm also on Facebook, Austin Domer. Just look me up there. You should be able to find my link. I post a lot of training stuff and a lot of mindset stuff. But Resilience 3 also has a Instagram and Facebook page, Resilience 3 _. So take a look at that. And we're looking to build off of there. And we podcast as well. So we have links and everything in our bios. So I would say the easiest spot is to just check us out on social media. And that would be it for now.
Awesome. Love it. Well, I hope you've gotten as much out of this conversation as I have. It's been great catching back up with you. I know it's been so long, and it's cool kind of connecting and just kind of hearing where you're at, where your mindset is, what your growth plan looks like, and just, you provide so much value for everybody in your day to day. And it's really cool to kind of hear how that's evolved over time. So I've loved this conversation. I'm happy we were able to have it.
Me too, man. It's been a privilege. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate you having me on here, man. And I love speaking the word. I love people. I love people that want to listen and try to grow and have a conversation. Right. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying I know it all. But just it's a collaboration and it's an effort between two people when we're having that conversation. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for listening. If you've enjoyed the episode, please just give it a rating and review on whichever platform you're listening on. If you're watching us on YouTube and you made it to the end, thank you so much. That's awesome. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace.